Today, we are going to talk about kids and the internet. Yay! I guess it's 2024, right? So we can't even ask the question like, have you heard of the internet? If you have not heard of the internet, you're practically under a rock in this day and age, right? In this day and age. So internet is everywhere. Even if you did not want it, you have no choice but to get into it, either with work, your phone, or you have families elsewhere and you need like an internet cafe to like communicate. So either way, it's entangled in our daily lives.
Right.
But with all of that, what we're not thinking about are the young bucks, our kids, in the crazy world of the internet, right? So the internet is great. It's great for the kids. They can do homework online, they can play games, they can speak with their teachers, they could do all of that good stuff. But the thing is, the same great internet also has lots of risks for these little kids. You know, like we've heard stories already of kids even committing suicide because of the internet.
Right.
And then you have all these crazy pedophiles just lurking around looking for young gullible kids to exploit. And so this conversation came about because one of the big tech companies just got underwater for not securing or protecting these young kids online. What you got for us today, Ms. Jazz? Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to another episode of Eye to Eye. I am here with the lovely Miss Jess. Miss Jess, say hello.
Hello.
As you guys know, we like to have conversations with y'all. So just make sure to continue getting these conversations that you subscribe to our channel, okay? Subscribe, like, and share. We thank you for the comments and we thank you for always showing up. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Lots of love. Today, we are going to talk about kids and the internet. Yay! I guess it's 2024, right? So we can't even ask the question like, have you heard of the internet? If you have not heard of the internet, you're practically under a rock in this day and age, right? In this day and age. So internet is everywhere. Even if you did not want it, you have no choice but to get into it, either with work, your phone, or you have families elsewhere and you need like an internet cafe to like communicate. So either way, it's entangled in our daily lives.
Right.
But with all of that, what we're not thinking about are the young bucks, our kids, in the crazy world of the internet, right? So the internet is great. It's great for the kids. They can do homework online, they can play games, they can speak with their teachers, they could do all of that good stuff. But the thing is, the same great internet also has lots of risks for these little kids. You know, like we've heard stories already of kids even committing suicide because of the internet.
Right.
And then you have all these crazy pedophiles just lurking around looking for young gullible kids to exploit. And so this conversation came about because one of the big tech companies just got underwater for not securing or protecting these young kids online. What you got for us today, Ms. Jazz?
Hey. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna read off to you guys a little bit of what happened in that congressional meeting, right?
Yeah.
So during the congressional hearing, they spoke about what they found through investigating the matter. So what they found is certain social media platforms help create a comfortable space for pedos to come together to connect and promote their agenda. Now, what is that agenda? For example, Discord is one of the social media platforms that pedos use to not only groom, they use it to abduct and to abuse children.
Ooh.
Now, as the congressional hearing proceeded, Senator Josh Hawley asked Mark Zuckerberg, I quote, "Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?" End quote. Mark Zuckerberg then gets up from his chair and he faces the crowd and apologizes to all of the families that were there in attendance. Josh Hawley then asks Mark Zuckerberg, being that you're a billionaire, will you compensate all of your victims with your money?
Ooh.
Mark Zuckerberg answers, I quote, Senator, I don't think that's my job is. Then Hawley interrupts and saying, nope, sounds like a no. So with that, I say all of that to say this. Just like you said, Daz, the internet, it's a very, very, very scary place, especially for the young children. And so we talk about the internet being, you know, just a dangerous space for these children to be in. Let's talk about what could we do to have more hold of our kids and what they're streaming or watching or whatever when they are on the internet. So for me, I feel like, you know, with parents especially, you know, with your kids, it is vital that you monitor them when they're on these different sites or whatever. If so long as they pick up a phone, a tablet, anything, you need to be monitoring them. Some ways you could do that, you have parental controls. You could put certain locks on the internet, certain websites, even if your child, you know, typed it in, they will get no access to it.
Miss Jess, let me tell you, these kids are so smart that I know a lot of them will easily bypass the parents setting up these controls. These kids, I don't know, like they, you know, this is their world. They live in the smartphone world. We're learning this stuff. It's like they just came out of the womb already. Like I've seen in church or wherever, like at the doctor's office or whatever, a kid will literally beat up the parent just to get the phone. Like this is how you shut them up.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. But then that goes to show that that's an issue with I don't know. I think that's like an issue more so for the parents. I think that's literally a symptom of allowing your kid to be so present in these entities for so long, because it's almost like they use it and use it and use it and use it to the point, you know, it's second nature, first nature to them. And the moment you take it away, it's like all hell breaks loose. It's like, I want it. And it's like,
oh yeah. And according to what a Pew Research Center here, parents were saying like technology is the biggest challenge for them. Like 2/3 of parenting is saying parenting is hard. Well, we know parenting is hard, right? Because even if you have good kids, you still have to worry about other parents who let their kids do whatever and coming in contact with your kids and possibly influencing them or just, you know how that works, right?
That's a great point. Yeah.
Parenting is just not for the weak, really.
Right.
Especially if you want your kids to do well, because there are some parents, they just have the title, but they don't really care too much about parenting, you know, and there's some, like the household is not even the proper household anymore, like where you don't have both parents in the home. So there's a lot of other stuff outside of that, but everything you were saying is true. Like, but how can you help these kids to not give way into the internet? And one of the things is definitely to cut out on their time or restrict stuff. But what I'm finding out, I don't know, do you get spam in your email? You block one, 5 more show up.
Yes. That is so true.
They'll sell you.
Yes.
And then you get more. So I'm thinking, even as a parent, even if you block one page, the parents are not staying up to date to know all the other ones people are going to quickly create to come right back to your child. So this would mean, as a parent, you have to stay connected into your child's daily life.
Right, exactly.
In order to help avoid, like, I mean, you may not catch every bullet, but you could try as many, to push out as many from entering in. And I think what you were saying is exactly right. Like, cut back on some stuff. And I don't know, parents have it tough, but the tech media, they also are supposed to be responsible for the things that they are promoting. But you see how Mark was making it look like, I just created a platform. What you do with it is your business.
Right. And that's why, you know, based off of what Mark Zuckerberg said when he was asked, are you going to compensate? And he's over here looking like, who, me? That just goes to show you like the things that this world provides. Um, as a parent, like you said, you really have to be on top of it because as you can see, Mark Zuckerberg, I don't even think he really cares. That's
Oh,
just my opinion.
girl,
I don't think he cares. He's just there for the money of it all. But you
girl.
as a parent, you have your child. It's not about money. It's about the well-being of your child, their mental health. And also piggybacking off of what you said, you know, you're basically expressing the elements of, well, you can you could basically watch them while they're at home, but when they go to school, they have friends, they have different
Mm.
influences. And these are honestly things that they are so far out of our control. So it's like when you're dealing with things like that, it's about creating a space, you know, with your children, a safe space.
A safe space,
That,
that's the word. And you know,
yeah,
social media and smartphone are taking over. So with
yeah,
that being said, how much screen time is allowed, to be honest?
right, right.
The phone comes everywhere now, even on the toilet.
With these kids, I don't even see phones anymore. I'm seeing tablets.
Hmm.
So they'll
Great.
be walking around looking like they're about to fall over because they're
Great.
tiny.
You know, back in the day, not that back in the day, but a couple of years ago, we were stunned that, you know, somebody as young as a 6, 7 year old had their own phone. We're like, what? We never had this stuff when we were young. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how? And then it's the latest model on top of
Yeah.
that. So it's like, how do you compete? How do you stay? Like, I don't even know. But I've seen kids getting cyberbullied, and it's such a thing because even me, okay, and I'm not a child. Maybe sometimes I am. I don't know. I promise you, I made a comment one time. They came for me on
Mm.
Instagram. They came for these people. They are brutal. They will. So imagine a kid who may not even know how to respond or even know to ignore it. They're getting
Right.
cyberbullied. They're getting punked out, and they're not even telling folks. They're not telling parents. I don't know if you've seen like different challenges that are geared towards them, and they
Mm-hmm,
jump
mm-hmm.
in that phase. There was this one kid I think just committed suicide because it was one of those kill yourself live a while back. So
Mm,
the
mm,
internet is
mm,
crazy.
mm.
We're just here to talk
It
about,
is.
especially Haitian parents. Keep up on saxi when you.
Yeah.
They have the three L's. True. L'église, l'école, la caille. But now that smartphone is in there, some of them are still satisfied. Especially if they're like, well, petit la oui. True. But what's getting fed to him or her in your
Mhm.
own house through these
Yeah.
screens?
But then again, that's why it's so important to go back to the idea or the concept rather of parents creating a safe space in the home so that their children can be comfortable enough in the event somebody is bullying them. They could go home and be like, hey, mom, hey, dad, or whatever, this is what's going on, or so on and so forth. Because at the end of the day, when you think about society and the people that inhabit it, kids are the most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, they need the adults to properly advocate for them because they
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to. So by creating
That's
that
true.
safe space in the home, when things are happening outside of the home that you have no clue about, you could trust your kid enough to know, like, when they get home or whatever the case is, they'll come to you and they'll express, hey, this is what's going on and so forth. And you as the parent can then assess that and take the proper measures
Girl,
if needed, if need be. You know what I'm
you said a
saying?
mouthful. You said a mouth. The problem that I know I have with some certain Haitian parents is that you're we are bad with communicating.
Mm-hmm.
So you get up and même dit moun, oh, si on a fait tel bagay, femme connaît, oui. You know, like there, for me, I feel like if, you know, maybe the new parents are doing it, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
very small percentage of parents who's really like that with their kids, integrated into their lives and know exactly everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, si moun nan get a van drug, ap se si, ap se la do, they'll deny things. Parents are good for that. Oh no, ti pe man bien, li pa pli mal. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
great, but meanwhile, you know what I mean? Like they're into
Yeah.
everything. Sometimes you might think they're just gaming, but gaming now have headphones. Pedophiles game too.
Yeah.
And that's instant. And that's instant. And I think when you're talking about some creating a safe space, maybe they could have this conversation like, papa la avec moun, papa yo non, papa yo adresse ou, pas dire koto rete, pas dire ki sa aucun moun fait. You know, like things like that at least, so that it can be integrated in their minds that, oh, my mom told me not to tell. Because they will prod, right? Those pedophiles, they do this for a living. They know exactly how to come slowly but surely.
Right.
Come and get you. So many kids have been taken because the guys like, I'm outside, come outside. Especially those kids who don't get along with their parents. They come and play that figure.
Right.
And then these kids are not listening to the parents, but they're listening to some stranger they don't know. Because you have to remember, this is why people can fall in love via text, through DMs. It's easy, right? It can captivate you. So, papa la ti moun yo parents, s'il te plaît.
Seriously.
Speak with the kids. Bio guidelines, bio led. Di kon sa apre tel le ou pas supposé dans internet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about the whole stranger danger thing? You know what I'm saying? That used to be, I don't know, I feel like after my generation, it's like all of those principes that existed, it just kind of flew into like, it just kind of flew into the air. The whole concept of stranger danger, it doesn't really apply when you physically see somebody. It also applies when you're online. If you don't know somebody, you just have to refrain from giving them a certain amount of information, because the last thing you want is to give them any access. Or even if you don't know the person, don't talk to them, because these people, they're smart. They like to prey on a vulnerability. So you tell them a sad story and they're like, gotcha. You know what I'm saying? And they run with it.
Oh, yes.
Going back to them falling in love and having boyfriends and all that good jazz on the internet. Not even good jazz, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly what you're saying. And even if they don't have the older people preying on them like that, just being online for too long can definitely have behavioral issues for these kids, right? Because some people, they're so glued to their phone, they don't even step outside. Like if you're not connecting or interacting with other humans,
right?
You know, everything's about your phone. Everything's about your phone. At some point, it's going to affect you.
It will, because even as an adult, I can see how crippling these devices can be. So as an adult, I will intentionally leave my phone behind. Like if I'm going to the park or whatever, I'll literally leave my phone in the house and I'll go to the park for a walk and just be present. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, I don't know, as an adult, if I have to conduct myself in a way where I have to give it a break, I can only imagine what it's like for the kids.
Yeah, and that's because you're speaking with yourself, right? You have to be, what's the word? Disciplined even. Because I know back in the days, well, not even back in the days, I have to start saying back in the days, like you would forget your phone at home, it's no big deal. Now you crazy? You will bust that U-turn.
What? Yo, you have a destination 30 minutes away and you're 5 minutes up the road. You're like, whoops, rewind. Gotta go back.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be late today. I'm stuck in traffic, or you know, like you say anything to just come back for your phone because you can't live without it. That's crazy.
My favorite excuse, my GPS rerouted me.
Does that work?
It does. If I'm showing up super late, my GPS rerouted me, because sometimes I'll reroute you and I'll have you going in circles.
Oh, something today. But yeah, I think some of the sites, they actually have analytics now where they can show you how long you've been online. YouTube does it. I believe TikTok does it. A lot of the other sites, you know, they start telling you you've been on. Like I had one thing that told me I was online for 16 hours. I was like, the heck I was watching for that long?
Yeah.
It's insane. So I was like, okay, you have to put yourself on a timeout because it's too much. True, there's good information, but the point is, if you're just interacting with a screen and not real people, because you know people can be different behind the screen. Absolutely. Even if you see faces. People they have strength behind the scene. Things they would not do in person. They could be like extroverts, right? Introverts, like they don't do much out, but behind the screen, oh, they're a masterpiece.
Right.
They're like pros and stuff like that. So the thing is, in the universe, in your home universe, you can see who your kid is interacting with. But on the internet universe, we don't know. All walks of life from anywhere in the world
has access.
So, and they're not gonna have your kids' best interest at heart.
Absolutely not.
That's a parent's job. But if you're not training them right, like you were saying with the stranger danger,
right?
Don't tell people stuff. Don't give them address. Don't answer things. Don't, because they'll. I don't know if you've ever seen these emails where people were scamming, like, oh, they need money. Those fall under the wrong hands. These kids, they're gonna get their parents' credit cards.
And it's over. I've even heard something like that too. These kids using their parents' card and then running up like the what is it, the Play Store bill or something like that.
Yes!
Things online. I was like, these kids know how to input a card number? What is going on?
That's exactly what I was saying. These kids are too smart for parents. Like they're smarter, quicker, faster than these parents. So if you're not staying 2 steps ahead of them, they will lose you. They will, and especially Haitian parents, tout parlent pas l'anglais même. The kids will tell you how everything is honky-dory. And again, you as a parent, you're gonna take what they're telling you because that's why it's very important. Like, you should still be a parent. It should not matter where you are at, because kids, I think, got parents to be afraid of police. So a lot of them back down or they back off. Like, no, if you were gonna be a parent in Haiti, you should still be a parent in America. Parce que les crier à fait, c'est où pour crier.
Yeah, absolutely.
When reporting is being done, who gotta show up? There's any court callings, who gotta show up? So my whole thing is like, I don't want to deal with none of that mess. You act right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to tell them all that. Yes. And then you have the kids too who are going through things, but the parents don't know that they're going through things. They just assume, oh, it's toujours. Meanwhile, the person's depressed, getting cyberbullied, possibly being told things, like messing with their self-esteem. Who knows? Right. Everything is possible. Like I don't put nothing past anybody on the internet.
Yeah, that's
even
true.
If your thing is private, they still find ways to come in.
They sure do. They sure do. Again, Daz, I can't say it enough. That's why I feel like that safe space at home is so important. I mean, there's this thing where they're like, I know Haitian parents, they'll be like, c'est parent moyen, c'est pas zami moyen. But that's the thing. Like, I feel like I think it should be like an even balance of both. The reason why you're their friend is because you want to be able to build that trust with them. You know what I'm saying? And then also you show up as a parent because even though you were able to show up for them to make them feel safe, it's still understood that I'm your parent and there's just certain things you have to respect. You know what I mean? I don't know. Pour moi-même, la vie ni soit haïtien, puis gros problème, like you said, c'est communication. En tant qu'Haïtien. A lot. And I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like parents yo are partly to blame because it's parents yo pas fait facile. So that's why I always go back to the parents, to the parents, to the parents. It's how you conduct yourself. There needs to be a change in some way, shape, or form. And it's not even to say, even though you create a safe space, everything will always be peaches and cream. The whole ideal is so that there is more control in a way 90% of the time versus it being the other way around where you have no control 90% of the time and you do 10% of the time. You know?
And for parents yo kwet si moun yo tout parce que gon paquet parents même que ti moun yo a bay vérité.
Yes. That part, that's a very big one too. Oh, yes.
Mm.
Parents. You got to start believing your kids sometimes, because a lot of the times they are coming to you with real stuff. And then in your mind, I guess, because it's hard for you to grasp it or digest it, you're just like, what problem? Sis and I left on women too. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, huh?
Like l'école, l'église, la ka, et puis that's it. Et puis that's it. No, parents, for nous ka aider ti moun. Okay, even if you cannot control the amount of time they spend online, right? Not plus parler like teenagers and down. I mean, only, 17 and up cases, like that's probably gonna be the 24/7 stuff, especially with TikTok. If I did back, I've been joining you too. No, get Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It doesn't end.
It doesn't.
Snapchat, it doesn't end. Like if this one is boring, just hop to the next. Me, I have to like hop on one every other day. Otherwise, it holds you. It pulls you. It keeps feeding you something. Go back, you gotta feed, let you scroll. It doesn't end.
It doesn't.
Même qu'on va faire même qu'on va regarder téléphone dans mes timoun yo, au moins connaît ça y a regardé. Connaît timounou, connaît ça a fait. That way, when you see their behavior is different, you know the next step, how to take actions. Like for example, si timoun na téléphone all night, why?
Right.
Aki moun y a parlé comme ça, ou pas ta yon connaît?
Yeah. That's
ça va l'école demain 6e ville, pas pour la faire?
I can't.
I'm that serious. No, find that out. Cadeau a been joining you like that.
Oh my gosh.
You got, that's how they used to get them for like these young kids doing drugs, selling drugs in exchange for a new pair of sneakers.
Oh my gosh.
In exchange for the latest jeans. It's that easy.
Yeah.
And you're young, that's a lot of money. That's dope stuff.
Yeah.
Question that. Whose clothes is that?
Right.
I did not buy this. What is this? You know what I mean? Like you gotta.
Absolutely. Yes.
Not comme judge. Et puis surtout l'autre si vous comme si ouais, leur fait activité, they don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
So activity avec l'autre famille, they're like withdrawn. Those are signs, of things to look for, to be like, you know, like you gotta listen. If they have the internet, you create your own internet system too. Because if they could check it into TikTok and Facebook, well, you'd be, I don't know, check into the mom's site too. Check into the dad's site too. See what I got going, see what I posted for today.
Right.
Have conversations. And I think that's the key. Because they might take it lightly, or stuff is being fed to them. They're not really sure of the real meaning behind it, because that happens all the time. So we're not gonna know stuff until things like Mark Zuckerberg appears. They're exploiting these children. And you have to literally fight for an apology.
Right.
Your site is that channel. Your site is that conduit that's bringing folks into the lives of my kids. And we have to beg for an apology.
Right. He gave that apology. It was just, it wasn't sincere. It wasn't sincere. Et puis, when he asked him, when he told him, you're a billionaire, so are you going to compensate these victims? Because the response to that question would have really shown how sincere he was about the whole matter. He over here, he could barely say anything. Oh, so you're not trying to pay for the damage you caused, but you want to stand up here and apologize. Please, you're not sorry. You're not.
Exactly. And part of that too, what he's saying is not whatever, but I still feel like the parenting is still your job though.
Absolutely.
Even though you teacher yo, but the number one is still
the parents.
You're still
that's where it starts. It starts, definitely.
So you got to check your kids' ear gate, eye gate. You control that. Especially like, Timon kumontre nan cham yo, well, you get to whatever they were doing.
Yep, exactly. Not the apps.
Like, why? Ça va faire là. Ça va faire là. Si vous êtes bien jeune, dans toute qualité là. Oh, oh. Les parents, s'il te plaît, please. 2024. Et pas plus douce, bagay a bin plus douce. Si vous avez bin plus éclairé. Il y a plus numb. Because the younger you are with these things, the more evolved you become.
Yeah.
So at least have the conversation, quitter ligne communication ouvrie.
Yes.
Et partager idées avec you. So this is all I had on kids and online safety. So share your comments. Let us know what other tips you have for parents and how they can help control or protect their young kids online.
Well, that's, like I said before, it's just the element of having open communication and being present. Being present and having open communication, because there's another thing in this as well. I know parents, you're busy. Parents are so busy, and sometimes they're so busy to the point the type of attention that needs to be paid, it kind of gets lost in a crack. So parents, just, it's about keeping that line of communication open. Be present, pay attention. Like Dad said, if your kid is on the phone or something like that, and you open the room door and they're like, wait, it's something's happening.
Yeah.
Bum wet. You know what I'm saying? It's just about being present, observing the behaviors, keeping attention to it, and being there to, you know, potentially, what am I trying to say?
Just be that open door, like for the conversation. The line just has to stay open. And
there we go.
Kids too, Jess, like these new millennials, especially, they want instant gratification. And a lot of these things are just giving them that. Like you could watch a movie and watch the whole thing without having to wait. Back in our days, we had to sit through commercials, okay? And wait and wait. We had to wait for the following week for the next episode.
For real.
On nothing. So these smartphones, especially, like you can even leave it alone for a minute or two, because notifications will just be like, memory, probably like the sound, like you can even turn it off, because what if something important is coming through? So notifications left and right.
You know, another thing too that just crossed my mind. So to my understanding, so if you have Wi-Fi in your home, I believe there's a way where you could pull up like the server or something like that, and you could see the different websites that are being accessed.
Oh.
Don't quote me on that, but I think, and just with that, if that is a thing for real, that's also a great way to monitor the kids.
Yeah, I think that could be a thing that's possible, because I think a lot of jobs have it. They could see, you know, what you're doing through their Wi-Fi, kind of, sort of. I don't know if they want to disclose all of that, but that's the thing. So you have these big giant techs who's not really protecting you. So parents, it's really your job to find out whichever way you can. If you have to go through that whole Wi-Fi system to figure that out, there's nothing wrong with that, because the system is prying into you. So don't listen to the kids who's gonna be like, this is private life. No, government is prying into it. I'm government in this house.
Right.
I'm gonna pry too, right? Because they have access, they could see everything anytime, anywhere. Well, I work for the government. I need to see your phone right now. You know, so like they might not agree to it in the beginning, but eventually be like, oh boy, here you go, mom.
Right.
Do nothing today. Can I have my phone back? You know? So just start slowly but surely. Pas que ti moun yo fè nou pè. Parce que protéger ti moun yo se job pa nou ke liye.
Yeah.
Especially against these giant technology companies that want nothing but your kids' business. Pull them in. I feel peace toujours parce que they feeding them what they should be thinking. They feeding them what they should be watching. So where's them doing their own imagination to work things out? Because it's being fed to them. So you have to let them be, you know, responsible too, like become responsible adults. Limited time, limited content, and family time.
Yeah. Epi that's set.
Epi that's set.
Epi that's set,
guys. Yeah. E sa se mam dege pou di. Bio, desert temps. That's it. You va bezwe plis ke sa.
Yeah. But also I wanted to add, I'm actually pretty curious. So for you guys watching the video, put down in the comments, like, what are your thoughts? Because I know we have parents in the audience, like, you know, when it comes to your children, how do you go about it as far as monitoring their internet usage? If so, you know, I'm very curious. Let me put it in the comments down below. Like, what do you guys think about this? And yeah, let us know.
Yes, I totally agree. Please let us know. We'll be looking forward to reading them and sharing them. So thank y'all in advance. Si nou gen ti moun tou, marke. Si se komante nan fe pou moun ki gen ti moun, let us know too. Want to hear from everybody.
Yeah.
So with that being said, this was us talking about kids and the internet. So until next time, keep watching these kids.
Seriously.
Right? So, all right, guys.
Have a wonderful day, you guys. Much love. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, like.
Share.